Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon. I'm back, and today I want to talk about characters in Marvel Strike Force that need to be made farmable. First off, before I start the video, you might notice my dog's sleeping in the background, so feel free to enjoy that during the video. Anyways, today I want to talk about characters that I think need to become farmable in Marvel Strike Force. All in all, I think Fox has gone pretty good in making characters farmable. You know, they do a good job putting at least one out every month that becomes farmable. But I think they still have a habit of sort of keeping really key characters sort of tight, like close to their chest. And I want to talk about some of those characters today because I think they need to become farmable because they're important to a lot of players, a lot of free-to-play players, because a lot of the characters they keep close to their chest are what I'd consider leaders of teams, like sort of the keystone members of teams. And I think it's really difficult for newer players if they're unable to obtain these characters. So I'll talk about a lot of those today. First off, pretty much any character I'm talking about is down here because if they're unfarmable, I don't own them because I don't spend a ton of money on this game. So generally, this is the rule of thumb right down here. But there's still some characters that I have unlocked that are not farmable that I wanted to talk a little bit about today. So first off is Red Skull. Now, Red Skull came out kind of recently, so I understand that he's not farmable yet, but he's a character I'd like to see them get out somewhat quickly. Red Skull, if you go to find him, there is nowhere to get him. He had a couple of blitzes, and that was it. I'd like to see Red Skull come to War Store or something like that, or a difficult node later in the campaigns. You know, he's definitely an endgame character. You know, his talent set really is an Alliance War, so I understand they're keeping him close to their chest because he's such a good character. Without him, Hydra kind of sucks. If you put him on the Hydra team, Hydra sort of becomes kind of crazy, at least in Alliance War defense. So I understand why they haven't released him yet, because he's a little bit more of a specific character, but again, you need him to use that Hydra team, so I'd like to make him farmable. You know, again, he's a character you could put in a later node because he's not needed by new players, but he's somebody I'd like to see them make farmable. You know, let's not forget about that. Now in this video, I'm not going to talk about Minerva and Yo-Yo. Not a huge fan of the whole premium orb exclusive thing, but you know, that is what it is. Again, it's not the worst thing in the world. You know, as long as I can unlock a character, that's all I care about. I don't really care about star ranks that much. I understand the characters get much better with star ranks, but I don't really get too mad if I can't get a character to high star rank. As long as I can unlock them, I think they're still usable, especially characters like Yo-Yo that apply offense down and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't get too mad about those kind of things, and especially compared to things like Future Fight, where you just flat out can't get the characters. You know, I'm not going to throw too much of a fit with Yo-Yo and Minerva. Who I am going to complain about, Ghost Rider. He is not farmable. Again, a lot of these characters I'm going to talk about today I think are endgame characters, but I think they need to be made farmable. Ghost Rider is what I'd consider one of the keystone characters for the Supernatural team. He has a lot of great stuff, especially in his passive. If a Supernatural ally dies, he kills an enemy. Well, he doesn't kill an enemy, but he attacks an enemy. And when the Supernatural team applies negative effects, he applies gives them all a little bit of speed. So he's really a character that makes that team work. He's the engine behind it. I get it because he uses a motorcycle. Ghost Rider I think is a really important character. Again, I think he should be made farmable. They just recently have made Elsa farmable. So again, that last member of the Supernatural team, I'd really like to see him become farmable. Now we're going to get down to the characters that I don't have, and that's because they're all not farmable. I don't believe I'm skipping anyone else above here. I'm pretty sure everyone else that is up here is farmable in some way. So I think I'm good here. I think all these characters are reasonable. I'm not a huge fan of milestone exclusive characters like Symbiote, Cyclops, and they're not like Symbiote, Captain Marvel, and Agent Coulson, where Symbiote's Spider-Man was exclusive to the milestones, and then Captain Marvel and Coulson were exclusive to milestone orbs. But as long as they keep that limited to like 1 or 2 characters, again, I'm not going to throw too much of a fit about that. Now, if they start having like 5 characters that are exclusive to milestone orbs, I'm going to start getting a little perturbed. But right now, where it's only 1 or 2 characters, you know, it's whatever. And Coulson's not even that great. Captain Marvel is, but they give out a lot of Captain Marvel shards here and there, so it's not that bad. But getting down here into characters I'd like to see farmable, Blob and Toad. Now these are characters, I understand why they're keeping Red Skull, Ghost Rider sort of close to their chest because, you know, those characters are really good. Blob and Toad, they aren't even that good. I'd really like to see Blob and Toad become farmable. Just throw them like Arena in the Blitz store. You know, Blob and Toad aren't that good at characters. Why I think they should do that is because you need Blob and Toad as those last two members on the Brotherhood team, so you can take Mystique and Sabretooth out and then put them on the Marauder team. Right now, without Toad and Blob farmable, I have no reason to farm out Mr. Sinister or Strife because I still need Mystique and Sabretooth for the Brotherhood team. So again, I don't know why Toad and Blob are not farmable. They did come out somewhat recently, but again, they're not that good at characters, so I don't know why FoxNext is sort of like not making them farmable. You know, let's make them farmable. Cyclops, I think he's similar to Symbiote Spider-Man, where he's exclusive to milestones. You know, again, I talked about, as long as they don't have too many characters exclusive to milestones, I'm not going to be too mad about it. But I'd like them to have a system. Like right now, we know how often events come around. You know, this is going to come on this day of the month. This is going to come on this week of the month. I'd like it to be, you know, Symbiote milestones, normal milestones, Cyclops milestones, normal milestones, Symbiote milestones. You know, I'd like them to be a set rotation because right now I'm just sitting here wondering when Cyclops is going to become farmable. And similar to Ghost Rider and all of them, you know, Cyclops is a pretty key member of the X-Men team, so I'd really like to get him unlocked, because without him, I have no reason to build up the rest of the X-Men team, really, because without, you know, I need Cyclops or Phoenix for that team, and I have neither. So I'd really like to see Cyclops become farmable, or at least if they're going to keep him exclusive to milestones, then, you know, if you could maybe be like, hey, this is how often this milestone is going to come around. Corvus, Proxima, Cull Obsidian, those characters I don't really mind. They just came out. It's okay for them to not be farmable. You know, we'll come back to them in a couple months. If they're not farmable, then we might have a problem. The final character today I want to see farmable is Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister isn't really a leader of a team, but he's just a really good character that FoxNext has not made farmable. I mean, Mr. Sinister is incredible. He can clone characters. He's literally so good. And I'd really like to unlock Mr. Sinister. Look how cool he looks. But unfortunately, I have no way to unlock Mr. Sinister, so I'd really like Mr. Sinister to be made farmable. Again, you could throw him deep into a campaign. I don't mind that. You know, I get it. He's a pretty late game character. Throw him into some really hard campaign mission. I just, man, Mr. Sinister's so cool. I'd really like to unlock him. And again, if you made Toad and Blob farmable, then I would need Mr. Sinister for the Marauders team. So I'd really like Mr. Sinister to be farmable. So in conclusion, I think FoxNext needs to make a lot more of these leaders farmable, such as Ghost Rider, Cyclops, Red Skull. You know, the characters like that I think are relatively important to a team, and if they're unfarmable, I think it's discouraging to build up the rest of that team as a new player, because what's the point if you're not going to get the keystone character? So, you know, characters like that I think should be made farmable, even if it's hard. I'd like to see them be obtainable somewhere in the game. And then characters like Toad and Blob, I just don't know what FoxNext is waiting on with those two. I don't know why they haven't thrown them into a Blitz and Arena store. I don't think anyone's knocking down, give me Toad and Blob. I don't think anyone's doing that. But with that being said, let me know who is the next character you want to see become farmable in this game. Mine is the Black Order characters, because those just came out. Give them a little bit of time to simmer before you want them to become farmable. But still, I'd like to hear what you guys have to say down below. And at the end of the day, what do I really know? Because I am only an 18-year-old. I hope everyone can have a happy and healthy day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.